Hello everyone, DemonJesterJ here, with 5 questions to a mile maker. And my guest is...
TinmanXL of SteamPoweredTV and Dicerage.com.
How are you doing today?
Doing good. I've got this light, this light, this light, that light blinding me right now.
Alright.
Not on my webcam very often. I'll probably be on it more often in the future because I can record 1080p on this thing.
Cool. Are you ready for 5 questions?
Yep. Let it rip.
First question. Who are you? Please tell us about yourself and your hobby. And also, do you have more than one hobby?
Well, TinmanXL, I am a press ganger for Privateer Press here in Bakersfield, California. I also have an internet show called SteamPoweredTV that's been going since 2008. And for about a year prior to that, I was also making videos on my original YouTube channel before I decided to become a little more dedicated with my video production.
Okay.
As far as having other hobbies go, well, video editing. These things kind of go hand in hand. I've actually did like a wedding video and other videos for friends. So there's
Cool.
like private stuff that I've done for people that you don't see online. In college, I was really big into fencing. So I'd actually I was in the sport of fencing for 6 years, but a bum knee kind of took me out. But as I was kind of getting out of fencing, I found myself getting into wargaming. So I didn't have that period in my life where I was sitting around my room going, crap, what do I do? You know, having nothing to think about besides, work and school and all that good stuff.
All right. Ready for a second question?
Oh, yeah.
Number 2. What got you into your hobby and how long have you been into it?
Well, I started out hanging out at a local game store that's no longer in business, that went out of business back in like 2005. But I was hanging out there as a role player. I was into Dungeons and Dragons. So I was playing in the world's largest dungeon adventure there. And I was also into World of Darkness. And I was actually storytelling a World of Darkness chronicle there at the store. But some of my friends who also hung out at the store were wargamers. Well, one of those wargaming buddies started a L5R role-playing game, and he required that you had a mini to represent your character, and that it had to be painted. Well, I was intimidated by the prospect of painting, but a good friend of mine, Tom, who's appeared in a lot of SteamPoweredTV videos, I actually sat down with him, and he taught me how to paint. In fact, I'm gonna go over to screen share here.
Okay.
And okay, this samurai warrior right here, you see my finger pointing towards.
Okay.
This is the first wargaming miniature I ever painted. It is from the Reaper L5R range that Reaper was doing all those years ago. Reaper has done a lot of licensed content over the years. Mm-hmm. And this was from their Samurai War range. This is a Crab Clan soldier that I bought to represent my character, and I just painted him up, and I wasn't thinking too much about colors. I just wanted to paint them, but I think I got like bubonic brown on the kimono there, and then I got like scorched earth for the I believe that's scorched earth for the leather. Came out really well. Oh yeah, and tan flesh for the skin there. It came out really well from my first model. I think Tom was just that good of a teacher in terms of getting me into this. And of course, here's the same guy from the back.
Cool.
And literally, there was just one Friday afternoon, hanging out, sitting there next to my friend, who let me use some of his paint and let me use one of his old brushes. You get those brushes that we keep around and carry on with us, but we don't really use anymore. He handed me off one of those, and I kind of went to town on this thing, and I was really, really proud of it. For about 6 months, I didn't paint anything else. I bought a couple other minis, but I didn't paint anything else. I didn't buy any paints or brushes of my own. Well, on a Black Friday, I went by a different game store, and the local Games Workshop Outrider was there running this competition where you pay in, you go through his collections of bits to create one model, and then at the end, we paint the model, and when it was all said and done, we played space, sort of a modified Space Hulk with the models we made. So I ended up putting together this Chaos Space Marine. I know the picture's kind of fuzzy, but it's basically a Chaos Space Marine, but I've got basically Chaos and Imperial Space Marine bits on there to make this guy up. At the time, I had no idea what I was putting together or what these things really were fully. Oh, wait. Okay, there we go. Now we're back. Kind of put this guy together. I took a Tyranid arm. I got my first lesson in how to use green stuff to get that arm to go on, on right. And back here he is from the back here. And I got a lot of help from the wargaming community that day. Literally everybody was giving me advice. So I learned dry brushing that day, as you can tell. I learned how to wash. The guy actually showed me how to sort of water down paint to make washes. So over that armor, I actually watered down some red paint and threw it over there to kind of help bring out details and whatnot. It was a lot of fun, and I got so hooked that the following Monday when the shop was open, I bought the Games Workshop how to paint kit, that beginning painting kit for Warhammer Fantasy. And I also bought some they had some Starship Trooper models on clearance. Remember that Starship Trooper game that came out in 2005 that flopped? Well, at the time you can get those pretty cheaply. So I got this guy right here. And I put this guy together in this sort of melodramatic pose. And one of the 40K guys actually gave me a skull bit, a little Warhammer Fantasy skeleton skull bit there to put in his hand. So I've got this mini here doing Shakespeare.
Cool.
And this is Dark Angels green, snakebite leather, and I had mixed up a black wash and threw the black wash over that, and then did a little dry brushing, and I was pretty much on my way.
Cool. Can you repeat what you said before that, because it started to glitch on the audio?
Okay, glitched on the audio. Said before on
about this mini. You were talking about the mini, like what was it and all that stuff before.
Yeah, this is a Starship Trooper model from the Starship Trooper game that kind of flopped about, I would say, 7 years ago.
Okay.
So everywhere you saw the miniatures, they were marked down, and I got some mobile infantry guys here. And I put this guy together, but I didn't realize you had to glue the gun to the arms and then put the arms on the body. So I put him together like so, and then the gun wouldn't fit. So, but he was in this kind of comedic, melodramatic pose. So one of the 40K guys happened to have a skeleton head in his bits collection, and he gave me that skeleton bit to the glue onto his hand so that he could be doing Shakespeare here. So cool. He's literally going, "Alas, poor Yorick." I knew him well. Here he is from the back. Here, and you can get a better view of the skull.
Oh, cool!
And this is a very amusing figure from my collection of early painted figs. There. From that point, it was time for me to get a proper army. So my very first wargaming army was these guys right here, the Necrons. That's my Tomb Spider. That is my last remaining 40K model. Well, not my last 40K model, but the last remaining model from my Necron army that I sold back in like 2007. I sold it with the intent of jumping over to a different army, and then things came up, and I ended up needing the money for something else. Cool. And I never really got back into 40K after that. And I was already into War Machine at that point, and pretty much when I got into War Machine, I fell in love with it. So, and then of course, people who watch SteamPoweredTV, they know what my War Machine stuff looks like.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to go back to There you go.
There you are.
I'm back. Yay!
All right. So, ready for number 3? Question number 3. When and why did you start making YouTube videos? And have you met anyone from YouTube because of it?
All right. I started making YouTube videos back in 2007. I really got hardcore into YouTube. And I was like subscribing, liking, commenting. I'm the kind of user that, you know, show producers want subscribing to you, because that's like, I'm going to thumbs up or thumbs down your videos if I like or don't like it. Mike of What the Buck used to say, rate it even if you hate it. I'm always leaving comments. And I'm the type of guy, I don't like to be a leech. I also want to contribute. So the very first videos I put up were just these still pick, slideshow type videos of my models. In fact, one of those videos is still on my original channel. It's called The Kingdom of Signar, where back in 2007, I took a bunch of pictures of my Signar models at the time, back when I had the metallic blue paint scheme on my jacks. And that stuff's up. And then during a Black Friday in 2007, I got a new camera. I wanted a new camera for taking better pictures of my models. Specifically something that had like a macro mode and all that good stuff. As a happy accident, it had a pretty good video mode on it. It wasn't a digital cameras in the past that recorded video. It was like no audio. You only got 15 seconds. This had a microphone in it, a really bad microphone in it, but it had a microphone in it nonetheless, and it recorded pretty decent video. Cool. Which was, you know, especially for YouTube at the time. So I had an idea to do a battle report, because I had been watching battle reports on YouTube, but back then battle reports were literally 2 guys playing, 1 guy with a camera just recording them, and you had no idea what was going on, because they might be talking about things that just weren't related to the game at all. They might be talking about what happened to them at work that day while they're playing, and you had no idea what was going on. You had no idea who's winning, whose army was what. So I had an idea of doing a battle report where I'd have my friends kind of talk about what they're playing with. I'd talk about what I'm playing with. And at the end of each round, we would do a recap of everything that happened. Cool. Then I would drop it into iMovie. And literally back then, I just dropped it all into iMovie, slapped the intro and conclusion on it, and sent it up to YouTube. And I did a few of those. And they got pretty popular. And people were saying, hey, man, you got to stick with this. You should keep it coming. You know, the people in the privateer press forums are really supportive. They're just like, keep it coming, keep it coming. And I got inspired to just do a channel dedicated to War Machine. And I called it was originally going to be called Horde Machine, but that name was taken. I also considered calling it the Arcantric Relay, which is a Mechanica device from the IK universe. But I ended up going with SteamPoweredTV because War Machine is the game of steam-powered combat.
Cool.
And I started the channel. And pretty much the first video on that channel was a little slideshow video that I wanted to put up, because I didn't want to just have an empty channel sitting there with no videos. Originally, the first battle report for that channel was going to be the back in the day beatdown video that I did. It's up in like 3 parts. But I also like squeezed in a battle report with a friend that's like full of errors. Full of me and him being really bad at math, but that's up there. Of course, rest is history. It wasn't just doing battle reports too; it was doing painting videos. Like I did Paint Like You Got a Pair. One of the things I've been organizing in this town for the past 4 years is something called Iron Painter, where we show up at 6 o'clock with 1 mini, primered, ready to paint, any primer color you want. And even if you use Army Painter colored primers, we allow it. And pretty much from 6 to midnight, we paint that 1 mini. Then we put it in a display case with a letter. And then paying customers during the week vote for their favorite minis.
Cool.
And I've done 10 of those. 1 at an old game store that went out of business, and like 9 at Paladin's Game Castle, which, sad to say, today was their last day. They hit some hard times recently. And plus his overhead just shot way up because PG&E, our local gas and electric company, just massively raised the rates on commercial businesses. And think about, people forget about local game stores, is that game stores are kind of low profit businesses. Mm-hmm. And generally the people that run the game stores, it's because they have a passion for gaming. They're not trying to get rich running a game store. But yeah, I think I digressed and started the ramble. So
you did a little ramble on that.
Yeah.
Let me get back on track for that. You answered a lot of that video about the YouTube and everything. The other part of the question is, have you met anyone from YouTube because of your videos?
Yes, I have. As a press ganger here in Bakersfield, California, I've ran some tournaments. Well, down in LA, or down in SoCal, another YouTube channel popped up called Veil of Darkness 000. I'm going to shout out to those guys right now. Veil of Darkness 000. Listen while you play. Those two guys, Chris and Cameron, drove up here for a tournament, and I met them. So after they'd been making videos for a few months there, they actually decided to come. He actually got in contact with me, and we actually talked via email. And then from email, we became Facebook friends, and I got him into our local gaming group's Facebook group and on our local page. And he started getting tournament invites, and those guys actually have been to several tournaments up here in Bakersfield. They actually drove up from LA and played. So as a trip, when normally you see someone on your screen and then you actually meet them in real life, it's kind of a trip. But yeah, those guys came up. They're really cool. They're really fun guys to hang out with. And then the SoCal SmackDown gaming conventions. Originally, SoCal SmackDown was a tournament, and I was like, at that tournament in 2009, I was the only YouTuber there, and only 3 or 4 people recognized me. At the 2010 SoCal SmackDown, there was a full convention, a full gaming convention. More people recognized me, and I actually ran into the guy from PaintClinic.com. Cool. I keep wanting to say his name is Larry, but I can't. I'm kind of drawing a blank on his name, but PaintClinic.com guy, I ran into him, and he's got a really nice YouTube channel now. The following year, I ran into Heretic of You, who does Malifaux and Blood Bowl videos on his channel. I also met the Catalyst Games guy, who has a YouTube channel dedicated to classic BattleTech and the MechWarrior Dark Age, sort of MechWarrior game that WizKids put out.
Cool.
That was kind of a HeroClix type deal. He does that too. And he became a YouTuber. Also, Wargamers Consortium. Chung, I met him at this last SoCal SmackDown.
Cool.
I met him. I also met Les of Awesome Paint Job.
Wow.
So I actually hung out with those guys, and he talked to me about airbrushing and gave me tips and stuff on what to look for when buying an airbrush. So that was pretty cool, hanging out and watching these guys, watching Les, do his thing, painting in person as opposed to seeing it in one of his videos. And I also kind of hung out and chat with those guys while they were playing a game of Malifaux.
Cool.
But yeah, pretty cool guys I've met doing this YouTube internet video thing.
All right, cool. All right. Ready for number 4? All right, number 4. Do you have any tips for anyone new getting into your hobby or making YouTube videos?
In terms of getting into the hobby, I say the biggest thing, don't let yourself get intimidated by painting, because that was my attitude. It's like, oh, I couldn't do that. I don't think I'd be able to do that. Then I tried it and really loved it. Don't give it a fair chance. You might actually love it. Okay. And just remember that there's talent, then there's skill. Painting is a skill. Talent means you make it look easy. But it's a skill that if you work at, eventually you're going to improve and you're going to get better. It's just like working out. You're going to improve. You're going to get better. Every now and then you're going to hit a plateau. but then you're going to try something different and get inspired, and then you're going to keep rising. It's the same thing. This is a fun hobby, and you can literally do this the rest of your life. Amongst our local hobbyists, we have this old retired guy, and what he loves to do is get Lord of the Rings minis and paint them up. He's got a little diorama he made from with the Games Workshop Lord of the Rings minis, where it really looks like Ian McKellen and Christopher Lee were hit with shrink rays, and then he just put them on display. That's how good the guy is. But this is literally a hobby you can do your whole life. Like a buddy of mine, he taught his stepdaughter how to paint. So his stepdaughter is painting BattleTech miniatures, and we're really impressed at how well this 7 or 8 year old girl is picking this stuff up and getting good. And we're saying, yeah, if she sticks with this, she could be top tier. She can be like up there with the best of them. If she sticks with it throughout her teenage years and as an adult, she could be pretty top tier with this, especially with a professional painter as a stepdad. In terms of getting into YouTube videos, I say you got to have passion. You got to love it, because people are going to come to your channel and they're going to feel the love. They're not going to care so much about the quality of your videos if they're feeling that love. So if it's shaky cam, or you don't have the best camera in the world, you don't have the best software in the world, up until just like a month ago, I was working with a really old computer and really old software. But people didn't seem to mind so much.
All right.
I'd say don't worry, because a lot of people, they'll get into this and they think they have to drop $1,000 on new equipment and all this and that. No, they don't need to do that. They just need to have some passion. They can use the webcam right there in the laptop to just talk about how much they love gaming, and they can use their iPhone. They can just use their iPhone to get video. Me, I also got a digital camcorder I've been using now because it's kind of inconvenient to get a call in the middle of recording something. But yeah, you don't have to drop thousands of dollars into this. You can literally use what you probably already have to do it.
All right. Ready for the last question? All right, last question, number 5. Who do you think I should ask these 5 questions to next, and why?
I'm going to say Mr. Fright 2010, also known as Marth of Marth and the Machines. I've been plugging this guy for years. His videos are mostly screen caps. And when it's a shot of himself, when he's narrating, or when he's kind of giving the intro, it's a close up of his eyes, like this, and it's a still frame. So I figured if you could get him on here, and we can actually see him, because we've seen him in a couple of videos where he's kind of vlogged. So I know he's got the stuff. It'd be cool just to see him just kicking back and talking to you like I'm talking to you now.
Right.
But he is a really interesting guy. I think he's got like a PhD. Cool. He's actually a grad student with a PhD. I think just got his PhD recently, or is still working on it. But he's a really smart guy, and it really shows through in his videos when he gives his analysis. And he does videos like Base Body and Beyond, where he'll explore the themes behind some of these figures we played with. Like he did a Base Body and Beyond on the Great Bears of the Gnarlswood for War Machine. And he got into like talking about Russian literature and how and all that. It was a pretty interesting video that he did. And I think he's a really interesting, smart guy that it'd be great to see an interview with.
Okay. Well, do you have anything right now? That's the end of the video. So now, can you please give us your YouTube channels, Facebooks, all that stuff? Time to advertise all the way.
Dicerage.com. It's a website I set up, me and my best friend set up a couple of years ago. Basically, we set this up in response to YouTube ending its groups. YouTube used to have a community section where different YouTubers could kind of get together and drop their videos all in one pot, and we kind of promoted each other. It was something that Girl Painting had started, and a whole bunch of us jumped in on. I jumped in on it. Rubbish In, Rubbish Out, Viv, he jumped in on it and heavily promoted it, and it was great. And all of us who jumped in on it, we got this growth in views, growth in members, and kind of was becoming kind of a community through it. Then YouTube shut that down, and I thought, well, we could do this on a separate website and have kind of a community, and I started Dicerage.com. And I was going strong in the beginning, but it slowed down mainly because the main people that jumped on with me, life issues came up, and they were unable to make videos anymore. So like Page 5 Canadians, Southern Signar, the Tabletop Gamers, Players Handbook, and some other guys that jumped on weren't really able to make videos anymore. So the content is sort of dwindled down to just me and Marth for now. But me and my best friend, Gillig, we're actually remaking the site right now, and the new site is going to emphasize the content creators. So basically, how Dicerage is set up right now, if you go to it right now, you go to categories, battle reports, hobby videos, reviews. You go into it in the future when we get it redesigned and we're going to actually formally relaunch it. Okay. It's going to be like, I have my own SteamPoweredTV tab for people coming for SteamPoweredTV. But for the other contributors, we're going to have Diceragers. And under Diceragers, we have the different shows. So, like, if you're going there to see some Martha and the Machines or to discover someone new, you literally pull down the Diceragers tab and you go to Martha and the Machines, or you go to Listen While You Play, and you just check out their stuff. So instead of people, just trying to fit things to different categories, you just have your own section of the site. You have your own little section that's yours. Cool. And that's where we're going to try. Then, of course, we also have the Facebook page, the Dicerage Facebook page. I do something a little different with that. I try to have a lot of fun with that. So I'll do caption contests. I'll post memes and do caption contests there. So I've posted, I've made memes on Quick Meme and posted them up. Like, most recently, one with Ice Cube, where Ice Cube's all gangsted out, and he's driving down the road, and it says, didn't roll Snake Eyes the whole game. Today was a good day. I also had another one where I took a picture of my Mangler Mercenary Warjack charging a Colossal, charging a Signar Stormwall, and took a picture of it. I said, okay, capture this. And a whole bunch of people chimed in with funny captions from "Come at me, bro" to "You even lift, bro," all kinds of stuff like that. I posted a link to "When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong" from the Dave Chappelle show. We have some fun with that. I'm also, let's see. Yeah, I'm kind of gone blank now. But yeah, definitely Dicerage.com. It's a good site to check out, and it's only going to get better because we're working on the new and improved Dicerage.com that's informed by all the mistakes we made with the first run. And I think once we get it relaunched, it's going to be something 20% cooler, if you will, cool, than it already is. And I personally think Dicerage is pretty darn cool. That's why I plug it all the time. Hence, my lower third down here somewhere says Dicerage.com. Yep.
What about your YouTube?
My YouTube, yes. Of course, my YouTube channel, SteamPoweredTV. I'm also on Blip TV. Good thing about Blip TV is I have iTunes distribution on Blip TV. So SteamPoweredTV is also a podcast. If you go to Blip TV, all right. If you go to my Blip TV show page, you can actually literally just drop the URL into your iTunes, and bam, you literally get the episodes going straight to your iTunes, straight to your iPod, straight to your iPhone, and that's a pretty cool option there. I went blank again. Why does this keep happening? Probably all the lights in my eyes. I feel like turned me into a deer.
I'll put all your stuff, all your channels and Facebook and Twitter and all that in the credits and in the description down below too. So
can I shout out? I want to shout out to random people.
Go for a shout out.
All right, I want to shout out to Veil of Darkness 000, Listen While You Play, and their sister channel Rise of the Failbot, also known as Through the Breach for Malifaux. Great guys, they're awesome. Want to shout out to Wargamer Girl, she's awesome. Want to shout out to Martha and the Machines again, because I'm always shouting out the Martha and the Machines. I want to shout out to Player's Handbook. Great guys. Also want to shout out to Orsis Zoktavir. He's got an awesome channel. Also want to shout out to the Bleep Up podcast. They are making some really awesome War Machine videos that I think people should check out. They also do sports gaming. Like they've got a lot of FIFA, a lot of EA FIFA videos on their channel as well. If you're in the sports gaming, great people that you should all check out, definitely. And if I forgot to mention your name, I've got 3 different lights in my eyes, and I'm feeling like a deer on the highway.
All right, that's the show. Thank you for letting me interview you. It was very fun to listen to you and you answer my questions. Like I say to everybody, keep the blade sharp and let the hobby be fun. Bye, all.